What up, my fellow weebs? So you may have noticed over the last couple of years now that streaming services have become, well, a bit obsessed with live actions. Whether it's One Piece, Avatar, Fallout, Halo, Yu Yu Hakusho, The Last of Us, you get the idea. All of these live actions have been made in just the past few years, and most surprisingly of all of them are actually pretty good, which when you think about it is like absolutely insane, as it's not like the US really has a great track record when it comes to, well, live action anime and video games. Western live actions have come a long way in terms of quality. Like my Zoomer friends, you guys just have no idea how bad things once were. For as much as people seem to complain about like the Avatar live action, or as much as I've complained about like the mini subpar live action anime that have come out over the last few years, none of them come close to as bad as the live action movie that we're talking about in today's video. Yes, my friends, after 15 years since its released, I think it's about time we rewatched one of the worst live-action anime of all time, the live-action Dragon Ball movie, aka Dragon Ball Evolution. Now, when I say bad, I mean, like, bad. Worse than the Super Mario live action from the 90s, worse than the Full Metal live action, arguably worse than Netflix's Death Note live action. I'm talking a big 19% on Rotten Tomatoes bad. So bad, in fact, that even Toriyama himself, the creator of Dragon Ball, rest in peace, the GOAT, said that he tried as hard as he could to make the Battle of the Gods movie as good as he possibly could, as personal revenge for how bad this live action movie was. So why don't we take a look at some of these Rotten Tomato reviews, shall we? Dragon Ball Evolution is my least favorite film of all time. I hate it with every fiber of my being. If you were ever curious about the show, Dragon Ball, or the manga, please avoid this cinematic disaster at all costs. This film offers proof, as if any were needed, that Western filmmakers cannot do justice to their Eastern counterparts when it comes to retooling anime. For anyone writing it off as a kiddie film, Dragon Ball Evolution should be considered child abuse. Put everyone involved with this catastrophe on the receiving end of a Kamehameha wave. And it just goes on and on and on like that. I talked about this in my most recent video about like why streaming services seemingly are so obsessed with live action anime and video games, but when I was a kid, there was like nothing more cool or more badass than Dragon Ball fucking Z. I mean, even now, all of these years later, in my late 20s, Dragon Ball Z is still as cool to me as it was in my early preteen years. I mean, even to this day, this scene from the Bardock movie will still make me shed a tear. You see, when I was a kid, I had this dream that one day I would be the person who made the Dragon Ball Z live action. So then you can imagine how surprised I was when years later in 2009, 20th Century Fox released the live action Dragon Ball movie, Dragon Ball Evolution, and holy shit was it hot garbage. So for some real quick context, Dragon Ball Evolution is a kind of rough adaptation of the King Piccolo saga from the Dragon Ball anime, and it was intended to be the first of a series of movies that would ultimately tell the story of the first arc of Dragon Ball Z, the Saiyan Saga arc. You know, the one where Vegeta says, "It's over 9,000. The King Piccolo arc being kind of the major climax for Dragon Ball, and then the transition into Dragon Ball Z, Goku ultimately facing off against King Piccolo, an ancient demon who in the past nearly destroyed the Earth, but was stopped and sealed away by Master Roshi. Though Toriyama made it extremely clear that the events of Dragon Ball Evolution definitely took place in their own timeline, their own spin-off timeline, and you're gonna see pretty quickly why that is the case. So our movie opens with the voice of Grandpa Gohan giving us the lore drop about how King Piccolo once tried to destroy the entire Earth with his evil disciple, Ozaru. But both were ultimately stopped, King Piccolo sealed away. Now right away, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you might be sitting there like wondering to yourself, like, what do you mean Ozaru? Isn't Ozaru just referring to the Saiyans when they're in their great ape forms? Don't you worry your pretty little weeb head, We're gonna get to that. The scene then transitions to an 18-year-old Goku, played by Justin Chatwin, training with Grandpa Gohan. We then get a classic wire fu battle scene with a healthy amount of slow-mo, like they're doing their best Matrix impression. This was the mid-2000s after all. This opening battle scene really isn't like that bad overall. Well, I should say not until Goku throws this mega cringe slow-mo flying kick, him obviously being attached to a wire, Gohan bapping him with a ki blast. Look, I know it was 2009, CGI and special effects have come a long way since there. I mean, this was like over 15 years ago, but come on, man. The Matrix used wires in a lot of their action kung fu scenes, and they looked a million times better than this. Goku and Grandpa Gohan chat for a bit. We learn that Goku is, well, he's not like the other boys at school and regularly gets made fun of and picked on. Maybe it's because, I don't know, you're an alien from another planet who was sent to Earth to ultimately conquer it for Lord Frieza? No? Just a thought. We learn that today is Goku's 18th birthday, as Grandpa Gohan gives him his most treasured, most prized possession, the 4-star Dragon Ball. Gohan telling Goku that with the 7 Dragon Balls together, a person will be granted one perfect wish. We flash over Goku going to high school, because yes, this movie is also somehow a campy high school drama, as suddenly Goku's bike gets run over by one of his bullies, this asshole named Fuller. One of the things that I think is like hilarious about this scene is that like how they're trying to portray this kind of like futuristic world that is the Dragon Ball world. You know, in the Dragon Ball world, people have all sorts of advanced vehicles. Yes, they have normal cars as well, but they have all these kind of advanced vehicles made by Capsule Corp. But they did so in this movie by using a bunch of like weird, quirky cars that just like weren't sold in the United States. Like I just imagine them in the writing room, like looking at each other being like, hey, so this world has like a bunch of flying vehicles and kind of like all sorts of advanced technology. How are we going to show that? Oh, it's okay. It'll be fine. We'll just throw a bunch of Renaults, some Peugeots, and some smart cars in there. Maybe we'll throw in a Charger with like a weird futuristic body kit, and no one will ask any questions. I also love this idea of like Goku trying to be like a normal high schooler. Like this man is like the true embodiment of like the what up my fellow kids meme. Goku gets pressed by his bullies, but he promised Grandpa Gohan that he would not use his fighting skills or ever fight back against these people, as he would probably just absolutely murder them. As then we are quickly introduced to Goku's main love interest, Chi-Chi.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Beauty awaits me.
Like, bro, who talks like this? Is this really what we thought like Riz was in 2009? Beauty awaits me. Cringe! Our scene then shifts as we get our first look at our main antagonist, the Demon King Piccolo. And oh my god, what the fuck is that? Piccolo, we learn, is on the hunt for the Dragon Balls with his loyal servant, this chick, as we see him drop an energy attack on this random village, absolutely murking it. Goku is in class where he's supposed to be learning about eclipses, but he is too busy daydreaming about Chi-Chi staring at her really fucking awkwardly, as suddenly his teacher interrupts his daydream, asking him what our ancestors might think about the upcoming solar eclipse.
Well, my grandfather would say, beware of the Nemics.
Nemics.
Yeah, they're an alien race that nearly destroyed Earth over 2,000 years ago.
Namex? Whoa, bro, that's not cool. We don't use slurs here. They're called Namekians. Get it right. This is our first reference to this weird, like, eclipse prophecy, like, kind of weird, like, subplot that later appears in the story. This prophecy relating to the eclipse, the return of Piccolo and his servant Ozaru, and the ultimate destruction of the Earth. Why they decided to do a prophecy? Who knows? After class, Chi-Chi is struggling to get her locker open with this keycard system. Oh, relatable high school problems, am I right, fellow kids? But Goku then opens them all using his awesome airbending. I mean, wait, a ki blast. Chi-Chi goes and thanks Goku. This might actually be the most awkward interaction I've ever seen between two humans. Chi-Chi eventually inviting Goku to her banger house party that she's throwing later that night.
There's a lot stupider names than Chi-Chi.
Goku heads off to the party later that evening. For some reason, he decides to take his grandfather's Dragon Ball to the party. Surely that's not gonna come to bite him in the ass. Surely he won't regret that decision. Goku then arrives at Chi-Chi's massive mansion party. I mean, her dad is the Ox King, so I guess he would have a kick-ass mansion, am I right? Goku gets pressed by his bullies once again, but this time he decides to stand up for himself as he easily dodges all of his bullies' attacks, making them look like absolute idiots. Again, most of these action scenes aren't like too bad or cringe, though we do get another classic wire slow-mo kick scene. God, they love the slow-mo in this movie. Expect to see a lot more slow-mo scenes before this movie is all said and done, but I guess it does kind of make sense, as the company 8711 was the stunt production company that did the stunts and the production for Dragon Ball Evolution, and they also happened to do it for The Matrix and 300. Oh, the mid-2000s and their love of slow-mo. Goku and Chi-Chi have another awkward high school boy-girl interaction. Meanwhile, though, back at home, Grandpa Gohan is surprised at a sudden visitor as he is suddenly attacked by Piccolo and his Kill Bill wannabe homegirl. My man Grandpa Gohan is absolutely shook seeing Piccolo in the flesh, Piccolo doing his best Darth Vader impression as he force grips him, realizing that the Dragon Ball he's looking for is not there anymore, so Piccolo decides to destroy Grandpa Gohan's house with him still inside it. Goku then senses a disturbance in the forest, running his Saiyan ass all the way home to where he finds the destroyed house and the near-dead Grandpa Gohan. With his last dying breath, Grandpa Gohan tells Goku that Piccolo has returned and is after the Dragon Balls. He tells Goku he needs to find Master Roshi and that he must then find all of the Dragon Balls before the eclipse comes in order to banish Piccolo from this world. Grandpa Gohan dying in Goku's arms in a scene that was supposed to be heart-wrenching, but it just kind of flubbed. Just as Goku is about to set out on his quest to discover all the Dragon Balls, he's suddenly held up at gunpoint.
Are you Piccolo? Did you kill my grandfather?
No, you dumbass, that's Bulma. Can't you tell from the one streak of purple that's in her hair? Bulma tells Goku that someone stole her 5-star Dragon Ball, the two of them deciding to eventually work together to go and find them, but first they need to go find Master Roshi, as the two of them jump on Bulma's Capsule Corp bike. Unironically, this might actually be the best CGI special effects scene in this entire movie. The two of them eventually find Roshi making their way to Kami House. Roshi believing that he is being home invaded, attacks Goku, giving him the real beatdown. We have a fun kind of reference here to a classic Dragon Ball Z trope. You know the one I'm talking about, where both fighters attack so fast at each other that you can barely see their punches. Luckily though, everyone chills out, Roshi telling the crew that he has one of the Dragon Balls as the three of them set out together in search for the rest of the 7. Meanwhile, Piccolo's doing a little bit of shotgun fishing as he just blows up this lake, finding another Dragon Ball. Roshi, Bulma, and Goku head to this place called the Stone Temple. There, Goku runs into Chi-Chi, who is training to enter the World's Martial Arts Tournament. The three of them then venture into the desert to look for another one of these Dragon Balls when they suddenly fall into a trap hole made by the bandit Yamcha. Roshi then convinces Yamcha to help them by telling him the Dragon Balls can make him rich, Yamcha deciding to help them out by digging out one of these buried Dragon Balls, as now he joins the party. Meanwhile, Piccolo uses his blood to create these freaky monsters that he sends out to attack Goku and the gang. This is kind of a half-baked reference to the children of Piccolo, as in Dragon Ball, in the Piccolo, the Demon King Piccolo arc. Piccolo creates several children who serve as kind of minor antagonists to Goku and his friends. Goku and Roshi eventually destroy Piccolo's minions. You know, we gotta get some more slow-mo action scenes in this bitch. The gang heading back to the Stone Temple after finding and claiming the Dragon Ball. Here, Roshi attempts to teach Goku the strongest of all airbending techniques, the Kamehameha Wave.
Final level of airbending technique is the Kamehameha.
Wait, what the fuck? Are we watching Avatar: The Last Airbender? What does man mean, airbending? What is this? Roshi then displaying the great power of the Kamehameha Wave to him by lighting a torch. Yeah, this was a super weird scene, especially considering the fact that, one of the first times that Roshi uses the Kamehameha Wave in Dragon Ball is, one of the most, iconic scenes ever, where we see Roshi just hulk the fuck up in his big steroid body as he just absolutely unleashes a Kamehameha Wave. We see Goku struggling to master the Kamehameha Wave as he is unable to channel his ki, but with a little help and some motivation from our girl Chi-Chi, he manages to figure it out. Guy's only got one one thing on their mind, am I right, ladies? Roshi then meets with the sages of the Stone Temple, where they prepare another vessel, the Mafuba, that can be used to seal away Piccolo, but it comes at the cost of the user's life energy. Piccolo's servant Mai, that chick we mentioned earlier, who I don't think they ever even say her name, infiltrates the temple disguised as Chi-Chi, stealing the crew's Dragon Balls, but not before a classic mirror matchup 1v1 me in mid lane bro fight between both the two Chi-Chis. Goku, not realizing which Chi-Chi is the real one, beats the absolute shit out of the actual Chi-Chi, the fake Chi-Chi then blasting Goku with her gun as she escapes with the balls. It's all good though, because Roshi comes rushing in, saving Goku, channeling his Kamehameha wave to revive the near-dead Goku. I mean, like, what else can the Kamehameha be used for? Like, does Master Roshi use it to kick his food as well? Like, I need to know what is going on here. Piccolo, now having all of the 7 Dragon Balls, attempts to summon the Eternal Dragon Shenron, but is then stopped by Goku and the gang. Here, Goku, now donning his iconic orange jumpsuit, faces off against the Demon King Piccolo, who drops like the weirdest and most anticlimactic of like all plot reveals on Goku, telling him that he is actually Ozaru. As suddenly the eclipse begins to happen, we see Goku begin to change, his Saiyan monkey powers hitting him hard as he transforms into his great ape form, is what I would say if it wasn't for the fact that he's just a normal-sized ape man. This is such like a weird and wild change to like the lore of Dragon Ball. I mean, in the anime, Saiyans can only like enter their great ape form when they have 1, a tail, and 2, they're exposed to the light of a full moon. The Saiyans then transforming from their human form into a massive great ape form. I mean, I don't see a tail on our friend Goku here, but I guess it is possible he's just hiding it in his pants for the entire movie. Maybe that explains why he just became a little ape instead of a great ape. Anyway, Goku transforms into Ozaru, Piccolo ordering him to destroy his friends and reclaim the Dragon Ball. Meanwhile, Roshi attempts to use the Mafuba ritual to seal Piccolo away forever. Side note, listen to the hilarious sound that Piccolo makes when Roshi does this. Now that's some classic 90s voice acting right there. However, Roshi ultimately fails in his attempt to seal away Piccolo, as Piccolo destroys the vessel, killing Roshi in the process, but not before Roshi manages to break through to Goku in his mind, convincing Goku and helping him return to his original form. Yeah, talk about anticlimactic much. I mean, my dude was literally in the Great Ape, the Ozaru form, for like actual 2 minutes of the movie. I guess they were really pushing that CGI budget pretty thin, huh? Goku then in the final battle faces off against Piccolo, though he is getting his ass absolutely handed to him, until he realizes that he must use the power of Ozaru and have faith in who he is. Whatever the fuck that means. In the climax of the movie, Goku hits us with the big power-up, finally launching an actual real Kamehameha at Piccolo. And when I say launch, I mean literally this man gets launched into the air at him, which I guess is kind of a reference to how Goku beats Piccolo in the anime. As in the anime, Goku literally launches himself headfirst at Piccolo, tearing a hole through this dude's chest. With Piccolo defeated, Goku and the gang then gather up the 7 Dragon Balls, summoning the Dragon Shenron as they use their wish to revive Master Roshi. Goku then in the final scenes of our movie meets up once again with Chi-Chi. They have a good old-fashioned makeout session with one final slow-mo fight scene as Chi-Chi and Goku playfully face off with one another as our movie ends. Well, actually, that's technically not true. There was a hidden scene in the middle of the credits, which was a teaser for a Dragon Ball Evolution sequel. But this movie bombed so fucking hard and got absolutely roasted by reviewers and just the audience as a whole that any idea of a sequel was canned like basically almost immediately. But I guess technically Disney now owned the rights to the Dragon Ball live action as they would buy 20th Century Fox. So who knows, maybe Disney in the future will end up reviving this god-awful live action. This movie is like an absolute clusterfuck and a real classic example of how bad a live action movie made in America was, like, for decades, until really this kind of recent like renaissance of the live action that we've seen through these many different streaming services. It really blows my mind that they spent over $30 million making this hot garbage. And even then, the movie still managed to actually gross over $50 million worldwide. So I guess, like, job well done. We made a profit, boys, so who give a fuck if we absolutely butchered the story of Dragon Ball? We made that dollar, that paper. Real quick, guys, I just want to announce that I have joined the NordVPN affiliate program to get you guys an awesome deal on the #1 VPN on the market. In the world we live in now, where it feels like everyone out there is trying to get their greedy little hands on our precious data, you need to make sure you're using protection when you're browsing the web. That's why I use NordVPN. You're never gonna catch me hopping on public Wi-Fi without a VPN. That's just irresponsible. My dad told me to always use protection. Whether you're trying to keep your data safe from being sold on the dark web, or you're just trying to have a worry-free time browsing the internet, or maybe you just want to see what's going on Japanese Netflix, NordVPN has got you covered. By using my link on screen now, as well in the description box down below, you can get up to like 74% on a 2-year plan. That's a whole lot of savings. The best part is you can cancel at any time, and by using my link, you help directly support me and help keep this channel alive and help keep these videos coming. It's completely risk-free, and with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee, you basically have 30 days to give NordVPN a shot and see if you actually like the service that they're providing. If you don't like it, then feel free to cancel within those 30 days and get all of your money back. So you might as well just give it a shot. I'll wait. Still waiting. Again, this is not a sponsorship. NordVPN is not paying me to say this. I just really liked their product, and by using the affiliate link, like I said, on screen now or down below, you help support me and help pay for my many cats. Again, thank you guys for watching and for listening to me rant about NordVPN. Let's get back to the video. In all seriousness, though, it is kind of hard for me to put my finger, like, on exactly what makes this live action so fucking bad. Like, it does have a few kind of like fun moments, but overall it just exudes like a level of cringe that I think is just like unmatched. Some of the acting is just not good in this movie, and they definitely weren't helped at all by just how piss poor the script was written for this live action adaptation. And can you believe that this guy was paid 500 grand to adapt Dragon Ball into a live action? Hell man, I'll do it for 100. Hit me up right now, Disney. The story adaptation of this live action is just like absolutely all over the place. The writers seemingly just like randomly picking and choosing like which elements from Dragon Ball they wanted to keep and which ones they wanted to change. There's this other unofficial live action Dragon Ball movie that was made in South Korea in 1990, which I unironically think is a better live action adaptation than this hot garbage. I actually didn't know this until I was doing research for this video, but they even released a Dragon Ball Evolution game for the PSP titled Dragon Ball Evolution: The Game. And yes, it's as bad as it sounds. The game basically being a kind of ripoff of the Budokai Dragon Ball type games where you can, you know, fight your friends as any of the live action characters from Dragon Ball Evolution. Why you would want to do that, God only knows. I highly encourage you all to go and watch this movie on your own time, especially if you've never seen it before, as it is an absolute wild ride. And I think it really puts, you know, things kind of into perspective on just how far Hollywood and like Western media has come in adapting these video games as well as anime into live action format. For as much as people complained about like Netflix's live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, or really any other number of like modern live action adaptations of video games or anime, they are nowhere near as bad or as cringe as Dragon Ball Evolution. And it really was this movie, probably along with M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender, that really kind of gave like my generation some severe PTSD when it comes to the live action adaptation, as people got real tired real quickly at seeing some of their favorite like childhood shows get absolutely butchered by Hollywood. So the next time that you want to complain about whatever like nitpicky issue you have with one of these new modern live actions, just remember that it's probably not as bad as the Dragon Ball live action Dragon Ball Evolutions. As always, guys, with these videos, these are just my thoughts and opinions, so feel free to let me know yours in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as that is the easiest way to help support me and help support the channel and keep these videos coming. If you did enjoy this video, then why don't you check out one of our other videos on screen now. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. You know the drill. Drink your water, hug your mother. I hope to see you in the next one. Until next time, stay safe out there. Peace. Love. Aru.